What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. And in today's video, I want to give you guys an overall market update as Bitcoin continues to range around about 44,700 and about 40,180, give or take a couple of bucks. Is the yearly high in? Are we ready for that big correction to the downside that everybody's waiting for? Or are we still waiting for Santa to drop off that second round of presents and bring us up to those next targets to the upside, where I will personally be looking for some short trades? And I also want to take a look at some altcoins, give you guys an update. We're going to be taking a look at Solana, Matic, and maybe even XRP. And if you guys saw my Solana update from last week, you will know that we were looking for Solana to move from that $80 price level, breaking that doorway to higher prices and getting us up to that $100 level. And Santa certainly delivered on that one. And if you don't want to miss any of these altcoin moves that we're able to see before they actually happen, make sure you hit that subscribe button and click that notification bell so you don't miss any of these updates. So without further ado, guys, let's just jump right into the charts and let's go ahead and start off with Bitcoin. Let's get into it. So guys, here we are on the Bitcoin chart. And first off, I want to take a look real quick at the higher time frames. Now, as you guys know, we have been looking at this big range. I'm not even going to really cover this range because you guys know where this comes from. It is from the bull market of 2021. We've pulled our volume profile, but this is our general blueprint on where I'm looking for price to go in the near future, or maybe I should say medium term, because price has taken a little while to move through this range. But it's all based off the volume profile, and you guys can see we do have the value area high sitting right up here at about $48,850. Now, obviously, this is our next kind of golden target that we've been looking for, and we could potentially see Bitcoin get a second push up to fill this entire range just based off the volume profile theory, because we know, as I say time and time again on our channel, once that value area low gets flipped to support, you are expecting the next likely place for price to go to be that point of control. And once you flip the POC, you are expecting for price to eventually make its way up to that value area high. In my opinion, guys, it is still in the cards to potentially get a move up to this golden target, where not only do we have the value area high, but we also have the golden pocket. But as you guys know, we also do have some potential levels in between where we're at right now and that value area high at 48.8K. So I want to talk about those key levels to the upside. Like I said, I want to talk about where I would be personally looking to take some fresh short trades, as I am still technically short from the top here, and I have still not been stopped out of that trade. I do have profits locked in, so if I get stopped out, I'll simply get stopped out in profit, making some money even though I technically lost the trade. I mean, I guess it's technically a win then. But anyway, let's talk about those next targets. And as you guys know, really not much has changed here, as we've just been ranging around that $44,700 mark and that $40,185 level. So there are some very key levels that I will be watching, guys, if we do continue to the upside. First off, if we wind up coming up a little bit more here, guys, we are obviously going to be keeping our eye on this level right here, which is the yearly high at about $44,729. Now, if we do come up here, if you watch my live streams, you will know kind of my basic plan. We will simply be looking to come up to this level. This is the first area I would be willing to look for another short trade. And this is an area where we know by looking at the liquidation heat map that we do have a significant amount of liquidity sitting above these highs right into that 46K NPOC. Now, not only do we know those NPOCs act as a magnet for price, but we also know if there's a lot of liquidity above these highs, if price comes up and breaks this level, we may be able to get a quick move, liquidating all the shorts from the yearly high. And if that happens, we could potentially be looking for a swing failure pattern at that key level, expecting a potential rejection to the downside. Now, that is the first technical level that I will be looking for a short at. However, if we do wind up breaking this level, not getting the bearish confirmations I need to see before taking a short position, I will be looking up towards that 46K NPOC. This would technically be the next level I'd be interested in a short at, especially understanding that if we are at this level, there were likely a lot of shorts liquidated. And then above that, guys, the levels remain almost exactly the same, where our next key level above that 46K MPOC will be this $47,127 level, where we simply have a high volume node. But other than that, there isn't much more in the way of where we're at right now and that 48 to 50K level. So I am still open to the idea of potentially coming up to these higher targets. However, if we start looking at the local price action, there is a possibility to come down a little bit more. And as you guys know, as traders, we can make money whether the price is going up or down. So we need to keep an eye on both possibilities, taking a look at the bearish and bullish case, because as you guys know, trading isn't if this then that statement. So if we get the push up to higher prices, these key levels that I just mentioned are the areas I will be looking for short positions at. More specifically, if we get up to that 48 to 50K level, I will start to be very, very cautious and look for longer term swing shorts, as it is, in my opinion, very likely that unless we just absolutely rip right through that level, it is going to be very likely that we get some kind of a rejection there. So being specifically very careful at that value area high macro golden pocket. But if we get a move to the downside, we have to keep an eye on those levels of support so we could potentially catch those fresh long entries to come up to some higher prices. So if we wind up coming down a little bit more, we know where to be looking for those fresh long positions. So let's take a look at some of these more local levels that I will be looking at to the downside. And again, guys, not really much has changed as Bitcoin's just continued to range around. This has essentially just been a game of trading the volume profiles, or essentially just range trading. Now, if we wind up breaking this value area low, and more specifically these lows down here, I will be looking for a bigger pullback into the next zone of significant support, where we have two naked points of control between $39,600 and $38,775. Now, this will be the next area I would be willing to potentially look for a scalp long position, but underneath that, we also have some more key levels, and the main one being the macro point of control of the entire range, and that is sitting at about 34.4K. And again, nothing really new here, as Bitcoin has not really done much. But if we get that big move to the downside, these are the two big zones I'm looking at for some support. And then if we get a big move up, you guys now have the key targets I'm looking at to the upside. And when we're taking a look at the indicators, it is possible, in my opinion, to potentially get a local move back to the upside, because we do have a 16-hour green dot looking to print on Market Cipher B, as well as a fresh green dot on the 12-hour. And if we take a look at some of these lower hourly time frames, you can see we're starting to get money flow crossovers into the green, which we know can sometimes give us somewhat of a significant move to the upside. And you can see your 2-hour money flow also coming back to the upside. So if we are able to get a move up, the next local areas of resistance I would be looking at is the value area high at 44,191, and then again that swing failure level, which I'm actually going to label right here. That will be the next area I would be interested in a short with bearish confirmations. Not just shorting random levels, guys. We need to see those confirmations to take a high probability short. We can't just be shorting any willy-nilly level. We need those confirmations. But other than that, guys, really not that much to update on Bitcoin here. I mean, not a bad time to take a little bit of a break for the holidays, because Bitcoin's just going sideways. But those are still the key levels that I'm looking at, and I just wanted to update you guys a little bit on my plan, even though not much has changed. But what has changed a lot, guys, is some of the altcoins, starting off with Solana. So as you guys know, I had made a video last week talking about how we were expecting Solana to potentially get a move to that $100 level based off some very specific things. And, well, we wound up seeing exactly what we wanted. If you guys saw last week's Solana update, we were literally looking at Solana tapping its head on this previous value area low. I know we front ran it a little bit right there, but we were tapping our head on this previous value area low, which we were obviously calling the doorway to higher prices. And this was the single reason we were looking for higher prices, coming up to about $107 to $110 for Solana based off the volume profile. Because again, guys, not to beat a dead horse here, but once you flip that value area low to support, you're expecting to come up to that POC, flip it to support, and then potentially up to that value area high, bringing you up to that $100 to $110 area. And what happened? Solana even blew our expectations out of the water, coming up to about $126. And again, guys, we give this information for free every single weekday on this channel, other than the one holiday break that I take every year, where I'm literally still here making market updates. But if you guys want to catch these altcoin moves before they happen, make sure you subscribe to the channel and make sure you have the notification bell set so you don't miss any of the videos. But we literally got this to play out perfectly. And if you guys take anything away from this video, just please learn about the volume profiles. I have a ton of free content on my channel. I'm sure there's a ton of free content on other people's channels, or just Google search it, ask AI, do whatever you need to do. But these volume profiles, time and time again, have given us absolutely amazing returns with a 37% move. And all you got to do is be part of the Candle Mafia. And I'll give you guys a little peek into my crystal ball. But what can we expect out of Solana next, guys? Simply put, we are back through, we have filled this entire range as expected, and we held that value area high just for a little bit, but we are currently breaking back below. How I'm handling this right now, guys, is simply looking at this as a range, right? So if we come back into this value area high and we cannot get back above, obviously the point of control is very close to the value area high. So the real key level here is the point of control at 102.29. So if we break back below this value area high and we lose the POC, this is where I would be expecting a little bit of a bigger move down for Solana or some kind of correction. But looking at the higher time frames, guys, pretty fresh money flow crossover into the green on the 5-day, the 6-day, and even the weekly are looking good as far as money flow goes. So clearly we've had a pretty big move to the upside. So I wouldn't be surprised if we wind up kind of consolidating here or maybe even getting a little bit of a pullback, because as you guys know, as price finds imbalance where we get big moves to the upside, it will likely hunt out a previous area of balance. And what we'll oftentimes see is once you break into these ranges, even if you wick above them like we did here, you could get accepted back in, and we could potentially consolidate in this range again between about $80 and about $109, $110. So if we wind up getting accepted back into this range, I will simply be playing this range again between $80 and $110. But the exciting thing is, if we wind up getting a bigger breakout here, whenever it decides to happen, guys, that next closest area of balance is going to be up here at that bull market high with the value area low, which will now become our new doorway to higher prices, which that doorway is sitting at $136. And once we wind up flipping that, we can simply move all these levels up. And now we have, just like we were able to see, price knocking on this door to higher prices, expecting that $100 Solana, we could look for price to approach this value area low and this POC to flip them and potentially get a move up to $201. Now, I'm not calling for $201 Solana like tomorrow or anything, right? Like I said, we could easily see a pullback into this range and consolidate a little bit here as we have gotten a significant move up. And we even have a fresh 2-day red dot here, so not impossible to cool off. But again, at this point, guys, I am paying a little bit more attention to the levels and the volume profiles than I am the indicators, and you can see the 2-day money flow is very, very thick here. So even if we get a little pullback, it's not impossible to continue to the upside, especially with those fresh weekly money flow crossovers. But again, simply looking to use this same technique to potentially approach that next doorway to higher prices. And when we start tapping on that door, you guys should be looking out for another Frankie Candles Solana update. Now, I also do want to take a really quick look at Matic, guys, because we are currently approaching some very, very interesting levels. And yes, it has everything to do with the volume profiles. And you can see right here, we are essentially tapping this previous value area low, where we are expectedly seeing some resistance. But if we wind up flipping this value area low, guys, we are simply going to be looking up into this volume profile for the next price targets. So if we wind up getting above this value area low and getting accepted back into the range, I will be looking upwards of about $1.26 for Matic as the next price target to the upside. Now, guys, I will say we are starting to see some bearish signals at this key level of resistance. Now, although this is our doorway to higher prices, as we approach, we do treat this as resistance at first, right? Because you got to flip this to support in order to get the move to the upside. But until you flip it to support, this is key resistance. And now we have higher highs on our price action as well as lower highs on our momentum waves on the daily time frame, and this could potentially be a sign of weakness. And when something like this pops up on a higher time frame like the daily, oftentimes it does give you some kind of a move to the downside. Now, you guys know I have been treating the shorts with a little bit more care, being a little bit more conservative with the shorts, almost expecting them to get stopped out. So I'm not really necessarily expecting some kind of massive dump to the downside, but it is also not really a case where we're just going to instantly moon through this level, right? So I would be cautious of a little bit of a pullback here as we are hitting that resistance with bearish confirmations, even on the 12 and the 16-hour time frames. Momentum is continuing to come to the downside as we do have those higher highs on price action. But you can see money flow indicating the longer-term trend is coming up even on the 16-hour. So this could be a potential bullish signal. I would just be careful of a potential pullback in the short term. And you can even see here on the lower time frames, money flow starting to leak out here on the 45-minute. You also have a fresh 30-minute red dot. Your 4-hour also just confirmed a red dot. So again, I'd expect a little turbulence here, but really the key level here, guys, is either the value area low or even the POC, just because they're so close. And then even coming up here to the 2-day time frame, you could see we are potentially looking to print a 2-day bearish divergence here, but the VWAP isn't even rolling over that aggressively. So again, paying a little bit more attention to the levels, and the next level of resistance that I would be careful around is between about $1.10 and $1.05. Once we flip that, in my opinion, that's where you're likely to see a move to the upside. So guys, last but not least, let's take a quick look at XRP, guys, because as you know, XRP has basically been toying with this value area low or doorway to higher prices for quite some time, just kind of consolidating under this level, getting short breaks above, but always getting rejected here. But right now, we are starting to get some higher time frame green dots to print, such as the 16-hour green dot, which is printing right now. Your 12-hour green dot is also printing on top of the 10-hour. And then even some of your higher daily time frames are printing fresh green dots, such as the 4-day, the 5-day, and you even have a 3-day green dot confirmed with somewhat of a fresh money flow crossover. So XRP is one of those coins I'm keeping an eye on right now for a potential move to the upside. As all of these other alts have basically gone ballistic, XRP has kind of been hiding in the shadows. So XRP is one that I'm watching for a potential move to the upside. But again, being very careful because we are playing with a level of resistance. So looking for that value area low to get flipped to support to potentially make a bigger move up towards this golden pocket at about 74 cents. And if we're looking in terms of volume profiles, not only could we make it up to that golden pocket, but potentially go for the 786 retracement, where we also have confluence with the point of control, which makes perfect sense for the value areas, because if we flip that value area low to support, we will expect that the next logical place for price to eventually get to is that point of control of the range. So with all that being said, guys, I think that's all the time I got for today's market update. Hopefully this helped you out, and hopefully you guys were able to see my Solana update last week and take advantage of that move from $80 to $100, and hopefully you guys were able to make some fettuccine on that one. And like I said, guys, I will be taking a little bit of a holiday break. This is kind of the one time a year that I do take some time off, but I cannot leave the CandleMafia completely in the dark, so I will drop sporadic market updates and maybe even a surprise live stream, but I do plan on taking a little bit of a break so I can work on some other stuff on the channel that's going to be super exciting so we can hit the ground running in 2024. So with all that being said, guys, I hope you liked the video. Smash that like button, and with all that being said, that's all the time I got for this video. See you in the next one. Happy holidays. Frankie Candles out.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the road, here we go, yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming on my landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command, like, yeah, you about to see me.